Yo, what's up guys? It's your man, I Do a Barber, back with another haircut tutorial. And in this one, we're gonna do a drop fade down to skin. This is gonna be a good one. I hope you guys are excited and ready to learn. So first, we're gonna start off by brushing the hair into place and just seeing how the hair grows. But before you do anything, smash that like button, subscribe, press that notification bell so you can stay up to date when I drop videos like this. So with the Fat Master, with the lever open, I'm creating my first guideline, if you will. I'm mainly doing this to remove bulk because I don't recommend that you guys fade into bulks of hair. So I'm just removing some bulk just to see how the hair is going. And now I'm going to come in with my MBs with the level closed to create essentially my first bald line. And for those of you that are curious, if you want to see this full length haircut with nothing cut out, none of the crazy editing and sped up stuff, tune in next week to the channel. And don't forget to subscribe and press that notification bell so you can stay up to date for this and you get to see it in its full entirety. Now, next, we're going to take our Babyliss Silver FX and we're going to bald out the hair underneath to get it bald. We're not going to use a shaver on this one because sometimes he bumps up and sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. And then this one, we're not. And any of the products you see me use in this video will be linked in the description below, as well as a Amazon link to shop at Amazon and buy anything if you want to help and support the channel in that way. It's greatly appreciated. So now I'm going to put on my wall half and create our first, or really second, guideline. We created a lot of guidelines, to be honest, but in the sake of the order, we'll say this is our third guideline that we've created, as you see, because we created the skin line. Now you're seeing this line that I'm creating now with the wall half with the lever closed, and then there's that level above with the Fat Master closed. Working in a weird order in this particular video, typically you'd work up, but I always recommend that you remove bulk if there is a lot of hair that you're dealing with, to remove bulk first so it can make sense. Now, I've got the lever open on my MBs with the wall fade blade, and we're gonna start fading out this guideline. Now, here's a mistake that I made. With this guideline that I created with the wall closed, just a little piece of advice for you guys. I should have started off right here. This is what I should have started off with, because the wall half guard with when you close the lever is actually shorter than the lever open with no guard. If you guys don't know that, try it out for yourself, because sometimes I'll actually fade down with the wall guard system, and I've noticed when I'm down to the half, it's really close to skin, especially if the person's hair isn't that coarse or thick. It can get pretty close to skin. And I've noticed that once I close the lever, I don't have to come back with the lever open. I can go like halfway and work my way down, boom, boom. So that was a mistake I made, but easily corrected. And of course, in the full length, you'll see on the other side that I correct that mistake immediately that I made on this side. It's all about efficiency. So we're gonna connect the back with the sides, because if you guys subscribe to the channel, press the notification bell, and see the full length version of this next week, I faded this haircut in panels. I did left side, right side, and the back. I typically don't do this, to be honest, like when I'm cutting in the barbershop. There are some cases where I'll do this, maybe if I'm cutting a kid or something who may be a little bit impatient, where I can't just go around the entire head. I might work in panels because they get a little bit crazy. So now we're gonna take the Fat Master and I'm gonna close the lever as you saw there, and we're gonna start fading down from there with the Fat Master. And again, like, this isn't something that I do all the time, like fading with the Fat Master, especially with my son. Like this isn't something that I do. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Actually, I just cut his hair, but yeah, yesterday, and I actually used the Gamma Ergo, or Stylecraft Ergo, with the Master's blade, and I used the double magnetic guards on his hair, which I haven't used the double magnetic guards or the Master or whatever since the first few times that I cut his hair when I first started barbering. So it's been a while, so I figured let me just try it. But one thing you need to know about me with YouTube is when I shoot these haircut tutorials, I take risk and I try different phasing systems on YouTube while I'm doing it, because if you guys watch me cut hair in real life, a lot of the stuff you guys see me do here on YouTube, I don't really do this in real life. So a lot of times I'll have a plan to do something for a haircut tutorial, and as soon as I press that record button and turn the clippers on, I'm calling an audible and I'll do something totally different than I actually had planned. So like the degree of difficulty is raised because I'm going completely off script. I'm going rogue and doing something that I shouldn't be doing. I should just be sticking to the script. And that's what you're going to see in a lot of my future tutorials. I'm actually going to stick to the script with you guys. I'm not going to be a Renaissance man. I'm not going to be going rogue, going off the reservation and all that nonsense. I'm going to stick to the script and show you guys bare bone basics, how I fade consistently. So again, I'm going to do the same thing with the back, and I'm working down notch by notch by notch. Now, of course, you're going to see here in the back, this hair is a lot more dense than the sides. And this is the case with most people. You know, you have to go up just a little bit higher or give yourself more room in the back to fade. Whereas you may create let's say a 1-inch guideline on the sides. You may want to widen that guideline in the back because you want to give yourself extra room to fade. So just a little tidbit and piece of advice for you guys. Or if not, you can work perfectly through the guidelines that you have. You know, there's a way to work around it. But I've just noticed just from cutting his hair all this time that that's the case with him. But again, back to my future tutorials. I'm excited to show you guys the new way that I fade and how much it's helped me. It'll add some consistency for you. And it actually, I think it will help a lot of you beginners. And what I'm doing is nothing revolutionary. This is something that a lot of other barbers fade this way. It's just something I just tried, liked it, and I'm implementing it. So now you see I've got the wall half and I'm fading out some of the stuff because of course the lever close on the Fat Master doesn't really fade into the lever open on the envies. However, it can if you're fading down. If you're fading with guidelines, a little bit tricky. You could possibly get away with it if you know how to use the wall half the right way, whether you feather off, use the corners, flick, whatever. You could fade from the wall lever open into the Fat Master closed. But fading down is a lot easier, I've noticed. It's just when you're trying to use the guidelines, a little bit tricky. If you don't want to deal with the nonsense, just whip out that wall half and you're easy money. So as you see here, I'm using the wall half just to connect some of the dots. And now I'm going to go into my 3.5 detachable blade on my Super ZRs. And this will be the highest blade that I'll use in this fade. Now, this thing is like the equivalent of like a 2, around a 2, maybe a little bit longer than a 2 guard. Yeah, a little longer than a 2 from my experience. And of course, it always depends on the person, right? So I'm just going in here, reducing bulk. And like I say, this is the highest that we're going to use. I'm going to use some scissor over comb or blending scissors over comb to connect the rest of it to the top. But I just want to get that clean look. I want that smooth look because with the guards, like if I were to use a 2 guard or a 3 guard, it just would have that raky look. And I hate that raky look of the guards. It really does annoy me. That raky look that the guards will give you. Ugh, annoys the hell out of me. And especially with hair like his, it doesn't grab every hair. So it just is what it is. So coming in right underneath with the Fat Master with the lever open, trying to blend it into that 3.5 because the lever open on the Flat Master is a 2 blade equivalent. And of course the 2 blade fades right into the 3.5 blade, if you guys don't understand that. There's also a video I did on the channel explaining detachable blades. But my son's hair, man, it's so difficult because I think his hair is like kryptonite for me because it's so difficult for me to fade his hair. And I don't know if it's just like a mental block from me starting cutting his hair from the very beginning because it's just very difficult for me fading his hair. Like it just takes a little bit longer. I think what didn't help or really doesn't help is I'm doing it for YouTube because with YouTube, I have a little bit extra time. There's no time constraints when I'm cutting his hair because he's not a client. I can just cut his hair whenever I want. And usually when I do that, I have plenty of time. So it's not like the mental switch is on where I'm like, okay, I got to get this client out of the chairs. Like I could just take my time. So case in point, when I cut his hair yesterday with the Masters, the haircut took it didn't take a long time. It was actually really fast. And my son was like, oh, you're finished already? Yeah, because I actually had to hurry up and get him out of the chair because I had other clients. So there's a difference. And I think it's just a mentality thing and the mind shift that I have to get over with him cutting his hair. Just boom, boom. I need to just picture him as a client and treat him as such. And that's just a little tidbit and piece of advice for some of you guys that may have like a mental hurdle with a particular client, or maybe your child that's like, oh man, it's so difficult to cut their hair, but everyone's hair you can cut amazing, you know? Just a little mind game that you could possibly help get over. Because I've noticed it's been like that for years. I hate cutting his hair. Like, you would think he would have the dopest haircuts ever, but he doesn't. You know, and by the way, I have the wall half on, and I'm just connecting that lever open to the lever closed from the Fat Master. And we're just using the wall half and, you know, opening and closing the lever. I'm really just going close to halfway because there's not much to do. And his hair pattern, like, I've noticed the longer his hair gets, the worse it gets. Meaning, if his hair is longer and you're trying to do a fade, it's gonna suck because his hair's not laying in the proper position. And I have some clients like this where I tell them, please don't go on these crazy hiatuses away from me, because when they come back, they get these haircuts and their hair patterns all jacked up. You know, their hair's grown waves and they want to fade there. And you guys know it's hard to fade through waves because it still leaves lines and stuff until it's just very tricky. So as you saw there, I'm using the blended scissors over comb to connect the sides to the top and just get rid of that little weight at the top. And of course, with thin hair, you want to be extra careful with this, because if you're too liberal with this, you're going to screw yourself. You're going to shoot yourself all up in the foot, because with thin hair, there's not much room for error. So just know that when you're dealing with thin hair using blended scissors, you know, you can't treat it the same you would someone with coarse hair. And again, just more detailing. Because like I say, you know, his hair wasn't short. It wasn't like, oh, he got his hair cut 2 weeks ago, let's cut little Johnny's hair again. Like, no, you know, it was weeks, maybe over a month before I cut his hair. Like, catch a case in point. When I cut his hair in this video, the haircut I gave him yesterday was from this one. So and this is an old haircut. As you guys know, I use Stylecraft clippers now. I'm still using the Envies with the wall blade and then the cordless masters with the Fat Master. You know, so you can see how old this video is. So now we're going to do the edge up and we're going to do the C cup. And I'm going to be honest, I shouldn't have used the Babyliss Silver FXs to do his edge up. And I made that mental note when I cut his hair yesterday, because I used the Stylecraft Absolute Hitters, or the Gamma Absolute Hitters, because they got a quicker result. These Babyliss, I've noticed on like thin hair like this, doing edge ups, sometimes it just doesn't work well. Either my slim lines or the Absolute Hitters are best for this. And we're going to do his front edge up. We're just going to keep it straight up across the front. And in the full length version, I explained something more in depth about the mistake that I made in doing his edge up. So watch that video to find out what not to do. But his edge up's pretty simple. You know, of course you got to create it because it's really overgrown. And as you can see, and obviously I don't cut his hair quite often. I'm hoping when he gets older, his hair gets more coarse, so it's a lot easier. So I'm just going to take the razor and clear off all that vellus hair on his forehead, because like I say, it's overgrown and I want him to have a nice fresh look. So this side of his box, I'm just using the razor to create his vertical bar. Sometimes I do this, sometimes I don't. You'll see in the other video, I don't do this on the other side. This was just this side. I don't know. But I actually do this on certain clients. Like sometimes I'll do it, sometimes I won't. And we're going to refine his C cup here with the razor just to make it pop a little bit more. You know, those little stubbles, little follicles, just 1 or 2 follicles can really mess up and throw off an edge up. You know, for all my experienced barbers, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm just going backhand just to get some of these follicles, because it's really hard in that position, trying to go straight up on some of those, because his hair right there grows straight back, which is ridiculous. And this is the problem with letting people's hair get overgrown, because especially if they don't brush it or comb it in a certain way, it's just going to go wherever. So as you see, here's the cut, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Also, let me know what you guys want to see in the comments below. I'm going to be dropping some very good stuff. I'm excited for the new videos that will be coming out soon. Again, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, press the notification bell, all that good stuff. Again, let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm going to get out of here. It's been your man, I do it, signing out. I'll holla.